Hey guys, I'm Andrew McComb and welcome to Web3 TV. In today's video, I'm with Dan Jones, the co-founder of Calyptus, a free e-learning platform upskilling senior Web2 engineers in blockchain development so that they can advance their careers as one of the most in-demand resources in Web3 right now. But before we find out about Calyptus and the amazing work that they're doing, make sure you register to watch every episode of Web3 TV here, where we share inspiring stories of all things Web3, making a difference to the world. All sorted? Okay, let's go. Dan, you're the co-founder of Calyptus, an e-learning platform to upskill senior Web2 engineers in blockchain development, the most in-demand resource in Web3 right now. You've also got a background in wealth management. You have a strong interest in emerging technologies and you're passionate about advancing the adoption of Web3. So tell us, how did this incredible journey begin?
For sure. Cheers, Andrew. So I suppose it began when I was at university. So I always found I was kind of entrepreneurially minded. I was big into investment as well. I studied like business economics at Exeter University, which is like a city down in the south of England. And I was that guy at uni who was like running club nights once a week at some crappy club. You've got like 30 ticket sellers to manage. And yeah, I always had that kind of entrepreneurial spark, I suppose. And any money that we made, I would invest into, stocks and shares. My brothers, we set up a small fund called Three Musketeer Investments. And so, yeah, I would save that money. I would invest into stocks and share like FTSE 100, 250 ones. And then also on the ASX as well, where you guys are based in Australia, because my oldest brother was based out in Melbourne at the time. And he was kind of managing myself, my middle brother and him, his own money, because he was a Warren Buffettarian, and so he really got me into investing on that front. But I was always entrepreneurially minded. And so when I left university, 2016, I realized that like I had to get a job after I had a gap year, and I jumped straight into like a small wealth managers just like north of London, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I love investment. I love the excitement around it, and this should be brilliant. And then what I realized, it was everything I loathed. It was just like wearing a suit, wearing a tie, a shirt. I had to shave, and I was getting juvenile stubble rash and all that kind of stuff that I just hated about just being in an office and kind of corporate environment. And so all the fun and energy was kind of sucked out of it. I found it a bit boring and sterile investing like into pensions and things. But I befriended the tech lead at this wealth managers. And he was like the only techie in the office, and he would like he'll talk about just random stuff, whether it's what Elon Musk is up to next, or websites like Wait But Why, where you explain like physics or scientific concepts. But he came in one time to the office. It was like April, May 2017, and he found this new thing called Ethereum. And of course, I'd already known about like Bitcoin back then from the deepest, darkest depths of it being used in the dark web for bad things. But he came to the office with this idea of Ethereum, and he said it's like this decentralized supercomputer with its own value, its own currency, and that just basically got me hooked and really interested. And I started just that whole period through the summer. I picked up a book called like Bitcoin Gold by Nathaniel Popper. I read books, articles, YouTube channels, podcasts, everything. I just get absolutely obsessed with crypto. I found it so interesting, and the whole entrepreneurial side of what I thought was like, this is something where you could really start a cool business, or the investment side, which is all the things that I hated about asset management, but actually it was really exciting. It was this kind of brand new alternative asset that had a real tech edge to it. And so I left that wealth managers like straight away. I thought I don't want to be here anymore. And because I had all my friends and family, even my girlfriend's step grandma, asking me, Dan, can you help me invest into crypto? Because I don't know how to get involved. And so, because I've done all this research, storing, trading, I thought, why not? Let's do it. And I set up a crypto portfolio management business called Bright Block Investments. I had like 22 clients. I wasn't managing a load of money, but I started then, and I experienced my first bull run and bust. It busted in December 2017. But that was my first experience with blockchain, and it came really from a crypto perspective. And yeah, I then spent the next 4 years in a career in venture capital, kind of licking my wounds after being burnt from crypto, and trying to pursue a more sensible career, which was on the precipice of investment, but also startups, and getting to analyze really emerging technologies like blockchain, AI, everything. And yeah, so that was my story of how I got into the industry. It started from that one conversation at this wealth managers with the techie there.
And if you look at it deeper, Dan, what really got you? Was it the investment excitement of it, or was it what it could do for the world, or what was the underlying for you?
I'm not gonna lie, like anyone who first went into crypto, I was thinking, because I was young, I didn't have like a load of money that I'd made myself. I thought, wow, this is a really interesting thing to invest in. So I saw it as a money perspective. I was just straight out of university, like this is a way I can make some money. But actually, as I grew up over time, and especially during my years in venture capital, I understood all the technology behind it, the things that it could do from a decentralized nature around not just finance, but identity, supply chain management, healthcare, everything. And I absolutely loved every day in venture capital getting to speak with founders who are building something in blockchain, who are like revolutionizing, an industry that's disrupting something. And I could see the real impact of what it could do and where it could be. So 100% it started from, you can make some good money from this, to actually this is like absolutely game changing and something that I really want to be a part of. So yeah, I'd say it started from the money front, but then I moved into understanding that this technology was actually super interesting.
Yeah. And so you survived your first crypto winter, and you did your time back in that, looking into new businesses and blockchain and that. What was it that guided you back to Calyptus? When did you jump off the cliff for that one?
Yeah, I jumped off the cliff, certainly. So this was actually this time last year, so mid-Jan. It started actually in the pub. My friend Tim, who I've known all my life, he asked myself, my co-founder Callum, like, how can he get into Web3? He's been a software engineer for the last five years, incredibly smart guy. And he wanted to know how he could get into the industry. And because I've been in it and around it since 2017, I thought, I'll just go away and find, some resources for you, or a boot camp or something. And then when I started looking, just these either just YouTube videos that are just honestly just crap, just really low grade, information, education. And because things like Ethereum, which developing on is so nascent, it's always evolving. So if you're learning a video that's 6 months ago, you're already learning something that's out of date. And so I saw this stuff, which is it's just rubbish. I didn't want to recommend anything. And then there were boot camps and things which weren't scalable, weren't there to fit in with your life if you're like a busy tech professional. But there's just this massive talent shortage, which then snowballed into investigating, which was there are 18,000 blockchain developers who are currently running and building in crypto. And at the time, the market was worth like 3 trillion. I was like, wait, there's 18,000 blockchain developers, 3 trillion of value, like all that value sitting on their shoulders. Why on earth isn't there more people in this industry? Because it's hard to get into and it's really low quality education. And there just weren't these bridges which are getting Web 2 engineers into Web 3. And so that's where it started. And we started as a boot camp for juniors. We actually did we took the wrong approach at first. We're like, the community in Web3 is made up of juniors predominantly. 33% of wallet holders between the ages of 18 and 29. That's the demographic of wallet holders. And we thought, okay, this is the market. This is the people in Web3 that clearly are interested in this technology. Let's build a boot camp for young individuals. That was wrong. And after about 3 months of research, we spoke to all these Web3 employers. We web scraped the largest crypto job site in the world. And we realized that it wasn't a junior problem. It was completely a senior problem. Like, getting seniors in the industry was just a massive issue for employers, and there weren't any bridges for getting them across.
And so what'd you do about
it? What do we do about it? So we pivoted. So we were building this boot camp, and we realized very quickly, after interviewing all these senior engineers, we interviewed 34 senior engineers, that they want convenience. These are people who have, wives, husbands, dogs, a mortgage, a job. They don't want to be stuck in a boot camp for 12 weeks, 2 hours after work, learning this way. They want something that's really self-serve, easy, and high quality. And not only that, free. And so for us, we thought, forget a boot camp, let's target senior engineers, and let's build a learning and employment platform dedicated just to senior software engineers. In a way that is clearly scalable. And a way that's very much targeted to just these individuals, because they're being completely ostracized by all these other players. Whether you look at whether it's a boot camp because it's they're not flexible, or whether it's X academy or X university, they're just ostracizing these older engineers because it's all branded at younger people. And it's not right. And so for us, we thought, let's build a platform which has all the attentiveness of a boot camp, but all the self-serve nature of a MOOC. So, like Udemy or Coursera. So have this combination where it's a really lovely balance. And so, yeah, we've built Calyptus. Calyptus is made up of a curriculum, which is 12 on-demand modules around security, NFTs, DeFi, and it's written material, it's videos, and it's coding projects, about 10 coding projects, 100 lessons overall. And the most important factor is that the whole curriculum has been curated by the ex-technical director of Consensus, Connolly. So he helped curate the whole syllabus. And then we had to go out and find the best individuals in every single vertical, whether it's DeFi, NFTs, security. We went to, senior blockchain engineers at Aave to help just build our DeFi module, or we went to PhD cryptographers to build out our security and cryptography modules. So we had to just find the best of the best to make sure there wasn't another YouTube video. It's free, but really high quality, to make this curriculum, amazing. And so that's what we did. That's the curriculum side. And then we have a community, which is it's twice a week. We have, the community is all on Slack. So 7 days a week, we'll have our DevRels, a developer relations team, helping these individuals if they're stuck, giving them Web3 news, employability tips, all through our Slack community. So that's where everyone stays in touch with ourselves and their peers. And then we have community events, so virtual events run by industry leaders from regional directors at Coinbase to heads of education at Near, to be really showing you what it's like to be in this industry and working in the industry. So that's our community side. And then in terms of our employment, if you do want to get a job in Web3, then we have our jobs board and employer portal. So in the employer portal, we have employers, some of the best names out there in terms of Argent, Gelato Network, Zerion, Superfluid, where you can understand everything about them. How much money they've raised. So are they buoyant? What are their employees are saying about them? What's the diversity and inclusion commitments? Everything about them, and also their jobs board. So the jobs board is where all their jobs are placed. Very easy to use, one click, and you can get an interview with these companies. So that is our ecosystem as a whole, and what Calyptus is.
Sounds incredible, mate. And what's interesting to me is all of that you've mentioned so far is free, right? So how do you make the money?
So yeah, it's all completely free. We think, especially when it comes to Web3, everything's meant to be just decentralized. Education, can be disseminated easily, and I think that we need to get the most amount of people into the industry as fast as possible. So completely free, and we make money from the recruitment side. So, right now we are a very traditional model. We take 12% on the recruitment of any individual that lands a job at one of our hiring partners. The average salary is 150 to 200K for a senior engineer in Web3. But in the future, we're going to be moving towards a SaaS model. So the whole idea is actually, our vision is to become, the world's largest multi-chain talent stream of professionals who are from Web 2 moving into Web 3, and companies can actually just subscribe to that talent stream. So you're not paying on a recruitment basis anymore. You're going to be paying for X number of introductions to our senior engineers and our ecosystem on a recurring basis. So you get a quota number of intros and you pay a set amount each month.
Fantastic. That's magic, mate. I just love the pioneer factor there, right? You see a need, your friend in the pub says, how do I get into it? You create a business, you're already passionate about it. It's just a great story, right? Of combining your passion with your talents. What is interesting though, is how have you found the recruiting side? Because it's not your background. Did you have to bring someone in as an expert for that?
Yeah, I'm not from recruitment, from venture capital and investment background. My co-founder though, Callum, he's fantastic at sales. In the last 4 or 5 years, he's been in enterprise sales. He previously worked at a company called Unmind, which was a mental wellness startup that he was a third hire in the sales team that boomed to 55 people because mental health is such a massive thing at that point. But his single job was to build hiring partnerships or at least partnerships between their company and HR teams in Web 2. So likes of Grosvenor to I think Orlando Magic, some really massive names where he's just building a partnership between their company and HR teams. And all he's doing now is he's moved it to Web3. We're building partnerships with some of the biggest names in Web3 because of him, because he's good at making sales and he's good at building those relationships. In terms of the recruitment side, we're now going to try and we're doing this all ourselves. It's this is what this profile says. They know JavaScript. They've learned this number of modules in our curriculum. They have this secondary skill. They speak English. They're based in location, and this is what the company is looking for. And so we're doing all the pairing up ourselves, very manual. In the first instance, we are going to be hiring, once we're fundraised, someone part-time who's been in recruitment for a year or two, maybe a grad, who can do this for us. And in the future, we're going to just automate it. We want to build an algorithm which can literally just pair up the individual attributes with what the company is looking for, and then we can just automate all that stuff nicely. But yeah, it's Callum who's been building all these hiring partnerships and mastering on that front.
Brilliant. And how are the developers going when they get placed now? Are they feeling like they probably felt a bit discarded earlier on, but now they've got a place which you've created for them. How do they feel when they get placed?
Well, we only launched on the 30th of November, so we haven't officially made a placement just yet. We're still pre-revenue. We launched only about 50 days ago. But, one individual, and it's our first testimonial where this individual said, that Calyptus was the primary resource that he used to land a job in Web3. We hadn't launched our employment portal and jobs board at this point. The first month he was just learning with us, and then he landed a job based in Dubai. And he gave us this lovely testimonial on our Slack community, which everyone saw. We didn't ask him to write it that way, but it's proof that we are building something that's valuable. And now we have opened up our employment side. We think we can create a huge amount of value for the rest of the community. But yeah, we have dozens of individuals who are now in interviews with our hiring partners. We've got about 18 hiring partners that represent 40 different jobs on the platform. So hopefully anytime soon, we're going to be making our first placements.
Brilliant. And from that flip side, with the hiring partners and with the companies looking for senior developers in Web3, are they feeling a bit more relieved that there's at least a pipeline of possibility coming through now?
Yeah, big time. I mean, if you look at all the other training platforms out there, there are a number of competitors. And then when you break down their communities, about 90% or more of their talent pipelines that they're creating are made up of juniors, individuals with 0 to 3 years of experience. And so it really is troublesome when you have like all this talent coming in that doesn't have the prerequisite skills to be making the expectations that the employer needs. And so there's loads of representation for juniors entering the industry. I think there's almost too much representation because it's unfairly then assumed that they're going to get a job afterwards, because what we found are there 33 times more jobs for experienced engineers, people who can build products and managing things. So for us, we've had the HR director at Aave say, I'm so glad that you've produced a platform like this, because every single hire at this point in time on Aave's list, 8 out of 8 of their engineers are for seniors. They get inundated with demand by juniors every single day, but they don't get seniors from Web2 who have the product skill, the leadership skill, the managerial skills. This whole industry is at the moment lacking quite a few leaders that have been lost. Sam Bankman-Fried, Do Kwon, Andre Cronje, all these people who have left Web3, and we need to make brand new ones. We need to get more seniors into the industry, and I think for a lot of these Web3 companies, we are a platform which is finally built towards their needs and requirements.
Excellent, absolutely. And so if you look at the business so far and the vision, and obviously it's evolving, but what do you think the biggest difference is that you're making in the space, other than providing a solution? What else? It's kind of a loaded question because I can already sense what you're doing with some of these people and what they're doing to help them, but I want you tell us.
I mean, I think the biggest difference is that we're building a place where senior engineers can feel like they're not having to learn a Billy Basic curriculum or be in a community that isn't built for them, where they feel out of place, where they feel like they're a bit beyond this, where so many of these different learning platforms are teaching people JavaScript first, so you can then learn Solidity, which is Ethereum's programming language. So this is such a problem because you're trying to race people through JavaScript, a foundational language that you should know in Web2 to then learn Web3. So race them through JavaScript, and then let's get you onto Solidity straight away so you start building smart contracts, which might be managing millions of dollars. And if you have a single bug in it, then it can be a vulnerability and be hacked. So it's unbelievable that we believe that you can just race through this Web2 component when 90% of the Web3 tech stack is Web2. So you need to have individuals who already feel like they can join a community where they know that they already have this knowledge, They already know something like JavaScript, C++, Python. They know computer science. They know perhaps cryptography. And now they are learning what they need to learn on this whole foundation that they've learned, best practice, being in an office, professional skills, to now learn this piece, which is smart contracts and how Web3 truly works. And so for us, that's what's so important, that we're building this first hub, this big community where you are able to be a senior and not feel like you're not a part of it, or you're different to everyone else. You're in a peer community where you're with other peers that are on the same level as you, going towards the same mission, which is, let's learn about Web3. And you know what? If we don't like it, we don't like it. But at least I gave it a go. But if we do like it, let's get ourselves a job and let's help each other out to get there. So that's the real difference that we're making.
And then obviously once they get those jobs, they're utilizing the technology to make difference in those, those new pioneer-based businesses, right, that are also looking to make a difference to the world or enhance the current scenario that from Web 2 or the restrictions of Web 2 to making it much better in Web 3. So it's quite fascinating, mate. So I just see how you're an integral part of the chain. And obviously for so many developers that are out there in companies and projects, it must just be an amazing opportunity for you. Perfect timing. It's like the crest of a wave from what we see for you to make a massive difference. So if you were to look down the camera and you're looking for the ideal developer, can you give us a sales pitch, and then we'll do a sales pitch for the ideal company who's looking for those developers?
The ideal developer. Well, we don't want to be too restrictive in terms of who we're looking for, but we studied all these Web3 employers, and we wanted to make sure that we were targeting senior engineers, people who are very experienced in Web2 first and foremost. And we asked all these employers, what do you classify as a senior engineer? And they came back with, some people said, well, if it's a back end, then it's 10 years. If it's a front end, it'll be 5. Another employer said 4. But actually, there isn't really an age in which someone, or amount of time in which someone is a senior. Perhaps you're a front end developer and you've been in the same company for 4 years, and therefore you've learnt the whole tech stack so well that you're now deemed a senior in that company. And so what we took away from this is, let's go with the bottom denominator of what a senior could be. And we said, let's make it 4 years. So that's what we got out of our employers. So we're going for, if you're a senior engineer that has, or an engineer that has at least 4 years of experience in traditional software engineering, any engineering, but if we're targeting the likes of JavaScript, C++, Python, but if you already have these best practice skills, you already know how to code properly and effectively, then yeah, our platform's for you. We're completely global. We're not targeted on any single region. 25% of our base is based here in the UK, 20% is in the US. We have 30% in India. We have 30%, which is the rest of the world. But yeah, we've got a very global presence, and yeah, we're not restrictive in that manner. If you have 4 years of experience as a software engineer, then yeah, we're open to you in our community.
Very cool. And then for companies who are looking for these developers, engineers, what's the pitch for them, and then where can they find out about Calyptus?
Yeah, so for Web3 employers, we want to make sure that they have that we think they're going to be growing. We don't want to be placing senior engineers from our community into a company which we think is, doesn't have enough funding to help this person at least go through 12 months or 18 months of runway. That would hate for that to happen, in terms of we place someone somewhere and then they've learned all the skills and been with our community all this time, and now they've got a job with one of our trusted hiring partners, and suddenly they're looking for a job again. So we really try and make sure that this is a well-funded company that has runway to sustain this hire. We look for the right ethos, what your diversity and inclusion requirements. Crypto is really bad. I think it's about 11% women, which is 3 times worse in the tech industry, which is 28% women. 28%. So it's actually more like 2.5 times or so. But it's, yeah, we're really trying to make sure that we're building, we're looking at Web3 employers who have these commitments, has the safety for our engineers, but also has a really interesting ethos and mission and product. We love getting excited about our employers when we're promoting them on LinkedIn, promoting them on Twitter, saying this is a crazy technology that we're working with. Superfluid, that one of our hiring partners from the very beginning, are building real-time finance where you can stream someone's salary every second to them throughout the month instead of having to wait for the whole month to get paid. Getting excited by this as a product is incredible. So those are the key areas that we really focus in on. Again, we are global. We're not going to be hugely restrictive on that front at all. I'd say that there aren't too many restrictions apart from that.
Very cool. And where do they find out about you, Dan? And Calyptus?
Calyptus.co. That's Calyptus. Some people aren't too sure about how to spell Calyptus. You know what? I don't blame them. We might even change our name when we raise our next round and create a new platform. But it's Calyptus.co. And you can register there as a user, or if you go to the hire tab, you can also register as an employer, and we'll get straight back to you.
Brilliant. Well, Dan, if anyone out there and the senior engineers or any companies are interested in doing business as well, and they've got any comments for you, maybe if they want to put them in the link in the chat below. You'd be happy to answer some of them. And then obviously if they do want to come a bit more serious, then come and have a talk to you at calyptus.co.
Yeah, happy to do that for sure.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, guys, we've also filmed some other fascinating videos with Dan. One of them is about what is the future of work, which I'll put a link here. You may have already seen that, and obviously it's led you to Dan's interview. The other one's around the integrations between Web 2 and Web 3. So for that one, I'll put a link here as well. Dan, I look forward to seeing you in one of those videos. Thanks for coming on the show.
Cheers, Andrew. Speak then.
Well, there it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Web3 TV episode. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. And remember, if you'd like to watch every episode of Web3 TV, visit the link below or subscribe to our channel. And remember to hit the bell icon so that we can notify you every time a new episode is released. I'm Andrew McComb, and I look forward to sharing more inspiring Web3 TV episodes making a difference to the world. I'll see you soon.